From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. Prime Minister Mark Carney is scheduled to return to Ottawa today after a trip to London that saw him meet with 4 other prime ministers and attend the Women's Rugby World Cup final.
Carney says that his meetings with the prime ministers of the UK, Australia, Iceland, and Spain was a necessary step in the government's goal of lessening Canada's economic reliance on the US. The Conservatives have been critical of Carney's frequent foreign trips, saying they lack tangible outcomes. The prime minister also attended the Women's Rugby World Cup final, where Canada lost 33-13 against the top-seeded English team Saturday afternoon. Diana Musina, The Canadian Press.
Canada's LGBTQ+ and women's groups say they're bracing for funding cuts in November's federal budget.
Canadian Women's Foundation President Mitzi Hunter says groups are on alert for upcoming cuts, especially groups responding to rising sexual assault rates and the effect of economic hardship on gender-based violence. Advocate Faye Johnstone, who heads up Queer Momentum, says a right-wing backlash against LGBTQ+ rights has caused pride festivals to be cancelled, just as provinces restrict access to services for transgender people. She says there's a fear the government will focus only on employment equality and pull back on services aimed at making life safer. Jason White, The Canadian Press.
Meanwhile, business leaders are laying out their wish lists of what they hope to see in the federal budget, which is set to be tabled on November 4th. Dan Kelly, president of the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, says he'll be looking to see what tariff relief measures are included. He says small businesses would find broad-based tax relief much more helpful than program-specific measures. Now over to the East Coast, where the Nova Scotia government has tabled a bill that spells out the plan for developing offshore energy. Dubbed the Powering the Offshore Act, the legislation would make changes allowing for energy produced by offshore wind to be purchased and used locally, as well as getting exported. It would also adjust the Marine Renewable Energy Act, clearing the way for tidal energy projects to merge licenses. Energy Minister Trevor Boudreau says that rule change helps to address business needs from the sector. And finally, Donald Trump says he'll be sending troops to Portland, Oregon, and is, quote, authorizing full force if necessary. This comes as the president expands his deployments to more American cities. Portland resident Alan Schmertzler says he's disgusted by the president's decision.
People are jogging, the weather's out. It's like, where's the emergency?
Trump said the decision was necessary to protect federal immigration facilities, which, he alleged, are, quote, under siege from attack by Antifa and other domestic terrorists. Police say protests at Portland's ICE facility site are peaceful. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, Team Canada had to settle for silver at the Women's World Rugby Championship. Despite a valiant effort, the squad was defeated by Team England 33-13. New Zealand beat France 42-26 in the bronze match. Over to the MLB, where the Toronto Blue Jays dumped the visiting Tampa Bay Rays 5-1. However, the New York Yankees defeated the Baltimore Orioles 6-1. Toronto and New York are tied for first place in the AL East, but the Blue Jays hold the tiebreaker because of a better head-to-head record. In the CFL, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers pasted the visiting Hamilton Tiger Cats by a final score of 40-3. Bombers QB Zach Collaros threw for a season-high 370 yards after missing 2 games with a head injury. And finally, Europe holds a comfortable 5-point lead over the U.S. at the Ryder Cup. John Rahm delivering another great performance, while Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood had another easy time for Europe, which went 3-1 in 4 balls, as it did the day before. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.